Hey, WokeNFree Nation, Newsly is an audio app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice.
For the first time in the history of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening.
You can follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports, science to Bitcoin, or even one of your favorite celebrities. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud.
And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, WokeNFree, is there too.
Now let's get into the episode. Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 251st episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week's conversation is really interesting because we're discussing the top 10 psychological facts about human behavior. ...
Not psycho.
Exactly. Definitely not, but maybe. We'll see. So, before we dive deep into the subject, a couple of things to go over. First, have you downloaded this episode on WokeNFree.com? If you haven't, through the Podbean app, if you do so, immediately you're able to join the conversation because that's how you can add your comments and you can tell us your thoughts around psychological facts around human behavior. So really, really make sure you do that. We can't wait to hear from you. Also, if you go onto WokeNFree.com for whatever reason you listen to podcasts on, if you say you're saying you, can't download another app, that's okay because the alternative is going to be on the website, WokeNFree.com. Go in the listen tab, and then you can pick your platform of choice where you would like to follow and subscribe to the show at. So we are on iTunes, we're on TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, our YouTube channel, subscribe, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. It's a WokeNFree world. So there's tons of places where you can support us at in the event that you cannot download the app today. Now on WokeNFree.com, you can also click subscribe to follow the show. On social, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn at WokeNFree. And then if you have 90 seconds, which is not a question, it's more rather of a statement. And if that's the case, which it is, go to WokeNFree.com. Go in the listen tab, and then you can pick your platform of choice where you'd like to review the show at, because again, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts, how the show's feeding into you. And now I'm going to kick it to you, Khalil.
Roger that. Before we start the conversation, we like to share a little bit about ourselves. This week we are asking, would you rather abolish war or find a cure for every type of cancer?
Wow, that's actually a really profound question. I would say, given that I'm a child of loss from people who've died of cancer, several family members, various types of cancer, I have to go with curing cancer because it ultimately is a plight across nations, across races, across ages, genders. It is something that is cruel, one could even argue unusual, punishment. I know it's, the natural progression of life, unfortunately, to live is to die, as Shakespeare taught us, but if I could, I would cure cancer.
Okay, that's a good reason. I understand your choice, but for me, I would abolish war, because I think war, it's very destructive, and it affects a ton of people that aren't even really tied to the war. They might just be in a certain place at a certain time and they can feel the effects of it. They can be injured, harmed, or lose family members. And I don't know. I mean, I know there's a point to it, but it's, to me, it's very destructive and we lose a lot of human lives over it. So if somehow there's a way to stop it, I would actually choose war instead of the cancer, because technically, you don't have to cure cancer. You can just become human 2.0, or you can live in the metaverse. So you wouldn't even need to worry about cancer. But if you don't abolish war, you can have war in the metaverse, and that's not good. Like, we don't want to bring that into there, so it'd be crazy.
Can't even take this seriously, can you? Like, complete foolishness.
No, that's
war in the metaverse?
Yes, you know it's going to happen one day.
So tired.
There's already different things happening that we shouldn't be doing there, so
Get out of your mind.
Can we not bring that into the metaverse? That'd be nice.
Go into your sloppy transition. I'm so tired.
I'm just trying to think of certain things that you shouldn't be doing in the metaverse. Like war is one of them. But why do things like that happen? Are there psychological factors behind why people do any things? Maybe we can go over psychological facts about people, and that'll make us understand why people even do things such as war.
Okay, let's see. What
I'll give 5 of these facts, and then maybe you can give another 5. All right. I'll start it off. People who spend a lot of time on the internet are more likely to be depressed, lonely, and mentally unstable.
So
this is what I found. These are facts.
Facts of life.
Yeah.
So everyone is out here in these streets feeling and looking crazy. Okay. Yeah. Phenomenal. Excellent. Yep.
It's just a good thing to know.
Beautiful. Yep.
Maybe this could be a cause of war in the metaverse.
Exactly.
Yeah, see?
It's more like war within your own mind.
Okay. And the next one is, maybe this, you already knew it, I don't know, but the color blue has a calming effect. It causes the brain to actually release calming hormones.
That makes sense.
Something that came up.
Yeah, I really love the sky, and whenever I stare at it, it does make me feel better, so that makes sense, yeah.
Maybe that's why, the sky and the sky
and
appears
the ocean,
blue. Yeah, a lot of things appear blue.
Beautiful, yeah.
I guess maybe it's just natural for us to feel that it's calming.
That's cool.
The third thing that I found was that lack of sleep actually leads to sugar cravings.
Now that's really interesting, being that I am a person who constantly has to fight my sugar cravings. And also a person who does not typically get enough sleep.
You think they're tied then,
That's
right?
interesting. Wow. I will. Okay.
I never heard that.
Ponder on that one a little bit.
I thought that was interesting, so that's why I included here.
Okay.
Another one is definitely good for us because we do this all the time, is watching scary movies has lasting effects on children and teens, which may affect them well into the adulthood.
Well, I just was playing game for KJ, so...
This is good to know, though. I mean, I know when you were...
Facts. Yeah.
I remember when you were younger, you were watching scary movies.
You remember
and I never did
when
that.
I was what?
When you were a young child and I was a young lad. That
all 17 days apart from each other, yeah.
Yeah, it was, okay. But I always looked at you and I said, you're going to have a bright future ahead of you.
18? You're so tired.
I'm just saying, your past involves scary movies. You didn't watch scary movies when you were younger?
I did watch scary movies,
all right, I remember
you weren't in the room.
So I can't remember you doing that, you're saying?
In the metaverse, you can.
I can invent past events in the metaverse.
Yeah, you can put yourself in my childhood version of me in the metaverse.
Okay, so you don't think I actually experienced you watching these scary movies?
I think you experienced yourself watching scary movies.
Okay, if this is said by you don't think I could have seen you. There's no way, no how. Even though we both are in New York.
From New York.
He said, no way, no how. This is what you say.
I didn't like that, sir. So.
That's interesting. This is an interesting thing that you came up with. And the last thing that I found out was that the Truman Syndrome is a condition where an individual honestly believes that his or her life is part of a reality show. So I don't know. That's why that's the Truman Show's name. I never seen that movie, but
I haven't watched
maybe that's what that's why it was called the Truman Show, is based off this Truman Syndrome. So it's not that Truman name. It actually had something to it. I didn't know that. So
again, connected to quite a bit of people living their life on reality TV. So,
but there's people that aren't doing it that think they're doing it though.
Confusion. Deep confusion.
they think they're in a reality show, but they're not. I mean,
but maybe
that's different.
They're can be attributed to certain behaviors.
Somebody's watching. They're always watching. Yeah, look, they're always watching. I'm on a show.
Be like they wish.
And they're mad they're not getting any kickback from that show.
Exactly. Where's that money at?
They're like, hey, I don't want to do this for free.
Correct. Absolutely.
That's interesting.
Well, on what's that called? Leveragreedo.com, there is. I said that right. But we're gonna go with it. I don't know how to say that.
That's a good one.
I don't think that's right.
What website? Oh, this is good. That's good. That's a good one.
The top 5 psychological facts.
Okay. If you say so.
Share from the site. Including.
Nice.
Included the following. First.
You go with
What's it called?
You're probably looking. You probably think it's leverage, like EDU is probably what it's supposed to be.
What I said was totally wrong.
I don't know what you said. I was like, wait, what? You're speaking a different language? Oh man, that was good.
Right? Oh gosh, this is horrible.
Yeah,
okay.
That was good.
There we go. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah. Because the other thing it couldn't be correct. It couldn't. It's that's what you were going for, though.
Okay, focus. So first, it takes about 66 days for an average individual to make something a daily habit. So
wow. So it takes like a little over 2 months, is it?
Correct. It is not 21 days. It's a little bit longer than that.
What made you think 21? Or why do you say that?
Well, that was the typical standard. At least that was what I remember hearing growing up. Like, if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Takes a little bit longer.
Okay. 66.
So
right,
I think the value of that, and again,
that's all it takes. That's
the
funny.
average, right? So some people can do something in less time. Some people it might take longer. I think what I liked about it, though, is it shows that you have to give yourself grace. And if you're trying to actually create a daily habit, it's going to require a grind that is going to be, like probably a couple of months till it really sticks in there. And so just to give that to yourself, especially whenever we get into the summer months, a lot of people do what? They like to work on losing weight or starting a new hobby and all these different goals and things that they're going after. Give yourself grace. Actually do it for probably the duration of the summer before you can start to say this is going to be a habit for yourself. And that way, if you stumble, if you struggle, it's going to be okay.
All right. So 7 days isn't enough then.
Correct.
Is what people should know. If you do something for a week, don't think that you're going to continue to do it forever.
Not unless you're going to Levargy.
You said completely different. Yeah. You made a new thing.
I made a new word.
Yeah, I don't know what was that.
Crazy.
But I was like, wow, you go to some weird websites. That's what I was thinking.
That was amazing. I am so done. Okay. Also, an average individual's mind wanders 30% of the time. I thought that was really interesting.
I guess wanders is like a daydreaming kind of thing.
Kind of,
probably.
yeah. I think lack of focus, there generally is a lack of attention span. We have a very short attention span.
Yeah, that's true.
But focus is also something that I've heard folks say that that's an issue. And so it seems like that's an issue that's not just, a minute amount of people, but that a lot,
it's common.
A good amount of people that are struggling with that. So again, give yourself grace is what I get from that. Next, hearing a single negative thing could damage at least 5 positive memories.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I wonder, see, this is interesting, and I don't understand the context. Is it kind of like, all right, is it talking about like if an event happens and you hear something negative, 5 positive things about that event now makes the whole event negative?
Yeah, could be.
Or is it just like if something negative happens, 5 of your positive memories from the past become negative?
It's probably the former rather than the latter. Probably kind of like you're having an experience, and if you hone in on the negative, it's going to detract from 5 positive things that you could have been thinking about from that same event, kind of thing.
That makes sense. It's like it takes over, because I believe that. Yeah,
absolutely. I definitely been having a good time, and then something negative comes up, and then
it can ruin the whole thing.
To poo-poo.
Yeah, even if you're really enjoying yourself.
And then it's like, I want to leave, I'm not having fun, and it's just like, we could have just gone to a different place, but because someone or people take you there, I think the takeaway there is make sure you surround yourself with people who are going to double down on positivity more so than negativity, because as easy and as attractive as that is, it's going to ruin your experiences in life.
That's easier said than done, though.
It is a lot easier said than done.
Some people are negative, but not all people are. It's not apparent.
Well, yeah, they don't wear T-shirts, right? Like,
they can't say I'm team positive, I'm team negative like that. I mean, that'd be a funny shirt.
I'm Team Jacob, and I'm team positive.
And you just said something that's impossible. You can't be team negative and be team like Edward.
You're not even listening to me.
Yeah.
Why is he? Well, why did you? So okay. Well,
I'm saying that. What? It's true because one came out of the other, so that's the problem. One is only born from the other.
To be the team negative then?
Because he has to. Because Edward can no. Because look, I'm just going by how the story runs. How the story runs is Jacob only exists because of the vampire.
This is
thus the vampire must be the positive, because how come the positive comes before the negative? I mean, this is not a true statement, but this is just what I'm saying. I'm just trying to rationalize something that is irrational. But just think about it. The vampire came first, and the wolf came out of the
name right
Which
now
name?
Of this series?
Oh, the Twilight?
Thank you. So this was a Twilight reference just for folks who are not aware of Twilight. And
I knew you would have to go to that just because of the teams.
Jacob and Edward. Edward being the vampire, Jacob being the delicious werewolf, who was her buddy, and then, a little bit of confusion, but then stayed within the buddy for range of life. But, okay.
But just think about that. One only came out of the other. So if you come out of something else, are you the positive or are you the negative? Or are you both positive? You can say that, then there's...
I'll have to ponder that one and think about it.
And you can't even... So if we were talking about traditional vampire and werewolves, they'd both be negative, though, because there'd be negative beings. But if we look at the stories, technically... They have positive aspects. They both have positive and negative, right? Aspects, but they live in duality. But I just think it's funny that one came from the other. If the one other didn't exist, it wouldn't be there.
Indeed.
See, isn't that interesting?
Indeed. All right, next point. Emotional pain is remembered better than actual pain, which has a greater influence on your behavior.
So the emotional pain has the greater influence.
So one to think about that is what you experience in your mind is actually can be even more significant than what you experience in your body or on your body. So that to me, that registers, that makes sense. I think I personally would say I'm plighted by things in my mind more so than like old scars or pains. Like,
so if someone uses a sledgehammer on your little toe, that's less memorable than them saying you.
Of course you go there.
You smell like a rotten egg. That's less, the sledgehammer to the pinky toe.
So I think the comparison
it's about
is
levels
more
of pain.
like,
I don't know.
So someone stabs you in the arm, right?
Yeah.
But you also think back and you're abandoned by a parent.
All right,
What's going to hurt a little bit more throughout the duration of your life? Is it that in that 1 month it takes to heal from the slash, or is it the lifetime of abandonment issues, feeling insecure? Right?
What if that slash was made like across your face or something?
Okay, well, you're getting extreme.
I know. I guess. It depends on what.
Yes, well, I know it's hard for you, emotionless one, but
that's a tough thing because when you think about it, you can make them comparable, and it's like,
of course. But I think what the point is that people need to think about, and sometimes people try to deny, is that emotional pain is a thing. It is absolutely a thing.
Oh yeah,
it helps dictate and orient your behaviors towards others, and it can also make people feel like their life is meaningful or not, based on emotional pain, right? Physical pain is temporary. Emotional pain is long term. I think is more so the sentiment there. But I know that emotions are just a no-go for you, so we'll keep it moving.
Yeah, we could continue.
Yes, RD2D or whatever the reference is.
That would even be B. That I would have to be like C3PO.
Darth Vader, yeah.
Well, that would make more sense because that's the most powerful. Make more sense to me. Why would I be a robot?
He was filled with emotion.
Why would I be a robot? I'd be more like him. You said he was filled with emotion? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he definitely. Anakin was nuts, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last point that I thought was interesting was...
You are now listening to
WokeNFree.
WokeNFree. WokeNFree.
WokeNFree.
A podcast that keeps it real and honest.
The sort of music you listen to influences the way you view the world.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
There's like genre.
So
I
it's
guess.
saying, but like one controls the other. It's saying, so if I listen to too much jazz, then I'm going to view the world in a jazzy manner.
Okay, maybe not so literally. Like I said earlier, you are not taking this seriously at all. I think what might be another interpretation of this is, say, for instance, if you listen to satanic music every day, all day long, then maybe your viewpoint on life might be a little bit more dimmer, might be a little bit more glass is half empty as opposed to half full, that type of a genre. So if you listen to, now to your example, if you listen to jazz music, maybe you tend to be a little bit more joyful or a little bit more outgoing. And so your outlook on life is kind of like, it's a wonderful day, like Sound of Music type of kind of thing plays.
I mean, you start tap dancing when you see bluebirds.
Possibly, yeah.
Or blue jays flying around.
If you listen to like old school hip hop, maybe then you are constantly looking at life in a way of like, I don't know. You tell me. You listen to that.
I can never see that point of view. That's what you're trying to say.
Not the lens that I view life.
Smart. Well, I mean,
Buju Banton is more my.
If you're talking about old school hip hop, though, I mean, a lot of that music more talked about what the world was actually like. Like they actually expressed their point of view.
Then, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they were real open about it. It's not like kind of today music. Some of it's, you don't know what they're saying. You can't understand. There's no real lyrics, but the old school hip hop, it had real lyrics, so they would explain.
So maybe you are more thoughtful and maybe you're more
maybe insightful.
Conscious and insightful. Yeah. So things like that.
Maybe it's like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it could, I guess that would influence you.
So definitely find all of our links for this episode. Enjoy all of the laughter that came with it on WokeNFree.com.
Definitely. That was some fun stuff there. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Leopold was telling a female friend of his, women cry 10 times more than men. Should his friend believe him or leave him?
What?
Which part is the what for?
The whole thing, Khalil.
Come on. You gotta, what for what? What's the what for?
Why would he tell his female friend that is so offensive?
You know, there's people that do that just to, like stir the pot, basically.
So he's
people that like to try it.
An aggressively abusive friend?
No, I'm not saying this is all he does is say things that are, like...
rude and unnecessary lies?
Oh, so you're saying it's a lie already, though. You don't think it could be a psychological fact.
But I love it's like believe him or leave him. Like those are the only two options.
That's how the world works. You only get two choices in the world.
Fine. This world set for children? A or B, red or green. Like
yeah, at least some multiple choices like A through F, and it's like that's not fair.
So you're about that true or false life.
Yeah, A through F is crazy. You just gotta get it.
Two options
down.
Could care less what the question is.
I mean, the question matters. The question matters here. Hey, you can go sideways. It's kind of like if you see a fork in the road, do you go straight? Some people do that. They run right in, they go right straight and just go right off the road. They don't care. It happens. People do their own
My
things.
A technology is not broken.
Your A technology?
Yeah, I can't say the word.
Oh.
Because it's gonna, start talking.
Okay.
But I would say, I mean, in this scenario, do I think that warrants absolutely ending a friendship? I don't know. I'd have to know more facts. But if I only have the choice of believe him or leave him, then yes, we have to go with leave him.
Wow, that's crazy. You don't even think the believe him is a possibility? Because what if it's
so offensive?
But what if it's a fact, though?
Prove it.
So if he proves it, then you can believe him?
Science will not support that response. But
what do you mean?
Women do not cry 10 times more than men.
What if there's documentation that shows this because they did
fraudulent documentation?
I mean, it doesn't have to be fraudulent. You can technically prove that easily.
There were, but I just find it
Not that
deeply
it's
offensive,
facts, I don't
and
know.
I find that there's contexts that need to be attached to things. But personally, I don't believe in this statement, and I think that if a man is saying that to a woman, it's not very empowering, and it's kind of like, what is he trying to get across on her? And so, if this is what you call a friend,
so
this
leave
seems
him.
like this person's living in a negative space, and who has time for that? So leave him.
Wow. Okay, you think that?
And you want to believe him and
Believe
high
him.
five him, right?
No, not a high five. She shouldn't high five him, but
Okay.
she should believe him because why is he going to randomly tell her this? It's so offensive. It's like he wouldn't say this if it was false.
Yeah, but maybe he did
he's your
take
friend.
his pills for the day. I mean, there's a lot.
I mean, that's crazy. Somebody like Leopold would do that, really?
Yes.
I mean, that just seems a lot.
Or maybe Leopold didn't have coffee today and was not feeling well.
She's just saying a
and
random thing.
wanted to talk that smack.
She should go into it by, well, where did you find that out
That's
from?
what I'm trying to say. There's a little bit more information that's needed here.
That's why I think she should believe him and just kind of
Now I'm
go
not going to
into
believe
it.
nonsense until it's proven.
That is not a fair thing you're doing. You're just going to call it nonsense immediately.
Pure nonsense.
No, it can't be nonsense because you
Get
don't
away
know if
from
it's
me.
real or not.
Get away.
You can't call it nonsense because it has to
Pure
be shown.
nonsense.
You don't know what it is yet. That's seems unfair though. You're just calling a fact nonsense.
Life. Ugh.
Facts become nonsense in your world.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. I mean, we all got our opinions.
See how you're trying to gaslight me right now?
I might gaslight you. You never checked that. It's like if I tell you the sun is doing nuclear fusion right now, and you laugh at me and you say you're wrong. Okay, thanks for telling me that.
If you said that to me, I would say prove it.
And you call it nonsense. You're like, I'm not believing that nonsense until you prove it.
It's true,
How's it
it's
nonsense?
nonsense.
That makes no sense. It can't be
Until
nonsense.
it's proven it's nonsense to me.
That's it. Just
Because
seems
you can say, hey, Josh, I'm a clown.
yeah. If I show you my clown degree, you better believe it. Yeah. So don't. You can't even try that. You should believe it again.
Need to take things a little bit more serious.
Well, going to clown school is serious. Like you have to actually pass your test.
Yes, I imagine. I don't even know if there's clown school. First and foremost, and secondly,
See, that's messed
you
up. That's
are
offensive.
speaking of, do you know if there's clown school? Okay, then don't even. Again,
I'm not an expert
nonsense.
on it. I'm not an
Nonsense.
expert, but I have it by good standard that there possibly really is.
I mean,
a clown
I
school.
believe there's some type of training necessary.
I don't think it's called clown school though. It might be called like philosophy of laughter. I don't know what it's called.
Get away from me.
Oh, I don't. I think it's something like professional in nature. It's not. It's
And
not
you
so
should
informal.
Consider it.
It's not so informal. I don't want to take those tests. I don't know how hard they are. You got to
Yeah.
prove how you can make somebody
Engineer,
laugh.
clown, not quite sure.
It's actually good though. You need clowns in this world, right?
good. Sign up.
You want me to sign? I wonder if they have online too. You know what? I'm going to check up on that just
Good.
to make sure, and
I
I'm going
hope
to prove
you
it to
become a
you.
clown.
And I'm going to tell you the
But
official
don't
name.
dress up because you know how I feel about it.
No, you don't have to. See, that's messed up. You think all clowns have to wear red noses and white
No,
makeup?
I've watched Pennywise. I know that they come in different.
You've watched the demon. Okay.
Yes.
I see that.
Yeah.
Scenario 2. Iridesia told her best friend Yvonne that she has been reading a new wizarding book in her dreams recently. Yvonne tells her it's impossible because people can't read in their dreams. She says reading and dreaming use different sides of the brain. Is Iridesia or Yvonne correct?
I don't even understand. Every time you can say these scenarios, I get lost.
Get lost. It's easy to get lost in the world of the wizarding thing, right?
Lord.
Whenever that comes up, that throws people off. They think it's all magical in nature,
So,
even though it's not.
is Yvonne really reading or is she dreaming of reading? What is actually happening in this scenario?
Well, Yvonne's not the one Yvonne's not the one telling it. It's Iridesia. Yvonne's just the one who's sitting back and hearing the stories
Okay,
and
so
saying,
Yvonne's a listener, and then Iridesia's telling her
Yeah.
that she's reading and dreaming.
she said that she actually was reading a new wizarding book in her dream.
Is that true, or is she just thinking that?
I mean, it's up to us to know. It's if if your friend came and told you, "Hey, I'm reading a new wizarding book in my dream."
You're kind of speaking to the scene from Doctor Strange, where Doctor Strange was in his sleep. He was what's that?
Astral projection?
Yeah, and then he was reading, and his astral projection version of himself was reading, but I don't know.
Well, you're going to it, I mean, you're going on to something different. I think we shouldn't go onto that. You're talking.
That's not what
this is a lot different. This is suggesting that the person went to bed.
Yeah.
And while they were in bed, there's no astral projection, no funny stuff going on. They just were reading in their dream, and they were reading a new book that was never released.
So she was just dreaming of reading. That's essentially what she was
doing. If you want to, that's what she was doing.
So I could dream that I'm a cow, but it doesn't mean I'm going to wake up and be
So you're not taking this seriously. People are trying to learn from this, and this is how you take the scenario. This is a real learning moment. What I'm trying to say is,
I don't know what you're saying.
Yes, you do. There's nothing to know.
99% of the time
There's nothing to know.
These scenarios.
There's nothing to know.
So like I said, I could dream of being a cow and eating grass, but I'm not waking up as one.
But did you truly dream of doing that, or is just your imagination?
Did I truly dream of being a cow? Yes, but am I really a cow? No.
All right, people can figure out the second part, but the first part is that's what's that question.
Because your mind could tell you whatever it wants to tell you. So.
But it could never even happen, right? You could have not even remembered your dream and just made something up.
Correct.
You could have just. It's kind of like you could have thought you had a dream that you never had.
So did Anastasia really read a wizarding book? No, she dreamt of reading it. That's the answer.
Okay, so you said that. All right, so that's yours.
That's what's yours.
So then, and then the second part of this question was: do you believe what Yvonne, her reasoning was that people can't read in their dreams? Do you believe that, or you think that's fake? Well, you're calling them both fools. All right, man.
No, I would never.
Not. But
I'd say this scenario is foolish.
It's very. There's just only two parts to it. Well, I guess there's a couple parts, but
no,
two main parts.
She wasn't reading. She was dreaming of reading.
No, that's fine. But I'm just asking because readers want to know what your opinion is. Is it possible to read in your? Well, this is what that Yvonne told her that. Now, is that true that people can't read in their dreams? I mean,
I don't know. I have to look at the science on that. Actually, yeah, I'm not sure.
You're not sure about that. All right.
I know
so you don't
in
know.
my mind what I have had dreams. Whereas, so I used to, as a kid, used to think that I used to have partial. What's that called? When you can remember things from in your mind, you can like see the page in your mind. What's that like?
Photographic memory?
Yeah, photographic. I used to, as a kid, used to think that because I would study so hard, no friends, so all I did was school and playtime, right? And when I would study, I would try to memorize pages. And so in my dreams, I could remember going and flipping through the pages and seeing it. And sometimes during tests, I could see the pages in my mind.
But only of what you've seen before. It's not like, so it's not like a new book came up and you were reading a new book. No, but have I had dreams where I thought I was reading? Absolutely. But I don't remember the pages and it really was not happening. But so it's not like you were really reading. You just dreamed of
things
reading.
that I've actually seen, I have reimagined that in my mind during my dream. So I don't know.
So you never read in your dream then is what you're saying.
I've only reread, right? So I read it while I was conscious and then in my dream I reread it. It's kind of like you just,
I mean, to even call that reading is kind of just like. I don't know if
you could, it's just like reimagining. You just
remembered the pages. You didn't read something new. It's not like you saw a book that you've never seen before or a newspaper headline you've never seen and then read it and said, oh, all right, that's new.
Never seen that. But, I mean, and you and I have gone back and forth on this. Have I
mean, this episode isn't about dreams, so don't say it's like you dream of a future event.
But that's what I was going to say. I mean, no, I am not a seer.
A lot of people
but
agree with
I have had dreams where I have seen people before I have ever met them in my life. I have seen things happen. You don't believe me, but my mind believes me. And so,
that's good.
Yes, in my mind it happened.
It must be real.
It must be
Our
real.
memories never fault us.
Correct.
They never fault us. They're good.
So I have had that experience, but I have never seen something in a writing and before I have read it. No.
Because I've just
been... But people, though, yes. I've seen people before I've even met them.
So you've never, like, read the lotto numbers in your
As
dream
my
or
dad
anything?
makes that apparently clear to me, no. Unfortunately, I've not seen lotto numbers, but I have seen... I've had conversations with people before I've actually had them in my mind, like, months in advance. Like I said, I think the scariest thing was when I saw someone in my mind a year before I met them. So,
okay, that's interesting.
I know, foolishness. Yep,
that's very interesting. Well, so the fact of the matter here is that it is true that many people actually can't read in their dreams. It's very common, but it's not. It's not impossible. Actually, there are people that's rare that do read in their dreams. That's cool. And what I found is it said that it's mostly like poets and artists on that type of vein, maybe writers that read in their dreams. Most people, other people don't.
Have they read something they've read before or a new thing?
I haven't gone. No, I haven't looked into that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I can't.
To me, that seems like that whole astral projection thing, like where you're.
Well, not necessarily. I mean,
like in a gazer egg.
What it could be like is what if your mind just put together all. I mean, we've seen lots of words in our life. What if your mind just put together something and threw that in front of you, and then you just read that? So it just jumbled like. Let's say it just took a popular, like a physics book that you're reading and a poetry book that you're reading and to put them together. What if your mind did that and you read that?
Is that possible?
I mean, I don't think you could say it's impossible. Why wouldn't it happen?
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But I mean, has it happened? I don't know. Have people been documented doing that? I didn't do like research on it on that.
More episodes to come.
That's something different. But I think originally it was thought that people can't even read in their dreams, but they found that people actually do. Now, are they reading a new wizarding book that hasn't been released?
I'm so tired.
I highly doubt that they read that new wizarding book.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you.
Why, Harry, what are you saying? I said a new wizarding book. I don't know why you're trying to allude to a series of some sort.
Harry Potter.
Whoa. Yeah. See, how come you're saying that?
Hold your horses.
It could have been anything. There's other wizarding books out there. Why did you have to...
sorry,
make a specific series.
Better reference.
See, that's so messed up. You're like just shoehorning this whole scenario. Now it has to be about one series when there's many wizarding books that exist out there. Wizarding,
like the ones you need to write. Yep.
Like that's what. Yeah, this person could have. Yeah, exactly. This
could have been reading the book you haven't written.
Exactly. That's the whole point of this scenario, though. No, but that's the whole point. Can you read a book that hasn't been written? It's almost like you.
Get some sleep, sir.
No, get it. It's almost like you. You had the deja vu. You saw somebody who you were only going to meet next year. What if you read a book that eventually it came out the next year and you're like, I read all that book in my dreams. No one's going to believe you, though.
Nope, and you should
no one's going to believe you.
Proceed to speak to a professional.
Exactly, see? Exactly. See how you're going to do the dirty too?
I'm not doing the dirty. What I'm saying is mental health checks are important.
That's so messed up. You're not even going to go for that.
I'm going for my head mental health check. Okay. You better go for yours.
All right.
Yes.
So if your friend told you that, you're saying it might be time to do your mental health check.
I'm saying let's go together. That's what I'm saying.
That's what you would tell them.
Yeah, it's time for a good checkup.
That's
just like we have to go check up all of our different parts of our body. It's time to check up the noggin.
Okay. Yeah. That's what you say. If that's your answer to this whole thing.
Yes,
all right.
Sir.
Scenario 3. Giambattista is a world-class con artist. He has conned his way into luxury hotels without ever paying a dime. Do you think this makes him able to easily detect other con artists and liars?
You know what?
Did I have you at Giambattista?
Exactly.
That got you going. That got your goose.
Oh, good God.
I got your goose going.
Yes. So, can real recognize real? Or in this scenario,
that's a good way to put it.
Fake recognize fake?
I think you already answered it.
I would say that most likely a skilled con artist who's making lots of ways to get over on life would probably be more in tune with understanding how to recognize another con artist. But I don't want to say it's a one for all. Like that, if any con artist out there in the world, they can look somebody up and down and be like, "I see your hustle." Like I don't know.
They can't recognize all, but maybe they can recognize
most.
Some.
They probably would be able to be more in tune with it because they're on that same vibe, right? So we all have these different vibrational energies that we have within our body, and they were putting out in the universe. And when you're vibing in this kind of dark, nefarious manner, you probably can recognize another vibe, be like, oh, I see you, I see your hustle. But I don't want to speak in blanket terms. So there probably is always going to be an exception where the con artist gets conned. But one would hope that if you're a gangster
that happens,
like that you would be able to see another person's con and make your own judgment call on whatever's happening.
Exactly. I agree with you. I think that he probably can tell that a person is a con artist or not, but there's definitely going to be scenarios where that person may be able to get over on him and con the con artist, because you can't just say there's something about like everybody that'll always give it off. I mean, you can't, it's too much of a blanket, but when you are in a certain field, you can often tell that other people are in that field. So another example is like a pro NBA player can probably tell another pro player he meets, if you play basketball with like, that from, I guess, a different country, from a different country, even like if if they're playing like street ball and then some other person's playing, they could be like, all right, do you play like pro somewhere else? They can kind of see.
You're 7'1", I'm 7'2". What game do
they just look at your height.
What team are you on?
I see that height. I know what's going on here.
What that game look like?
So I mean, it could be height too. Yeah, there's just things that give people away. And
I wear 16.5 and you 17.5.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
They can know like when the last time they both had athlete's feet. That kind of stuff.
Of course your mind goes there.
It's something that comes up. They can know. They're like, yeah, what did you use for that? What kind of spray? They can all go into that. They use
and
lube.
all the groupies come together. So
something else to think about that's what Giambattista is thinking about. Well, he's a con artist. He can pretend to be a pro NBA player too.
He can pretend to do a lot of things, I imagine.
Yeah, that's the power of conning people. You can be anything you want.
Hopefully he finds Jesus and gets his life together.
Maybe. I don't know if that's up to him. He can say he found Jesus.
He might even say he's his best friend, right?
Yeah, he would definitely say that. If that helps get him ahead of it in the world, he will do it. So that's the thing. Some of these people do that. But this is like another psychological fact that if you are a liar, you can actually detect other liars. That's what it said.
Ah, okay.
So that's where that comes from.
Interesting. All right, so real does recognize real.
Apparently.
Good to know. And it looks like we are at that time again. It is coming to the end of our 251st episode of
WokeNFree.
Quite the episode discussing top 10 psychological facts about human behavior. Glue, what do folks need to do now?
They should come back next week for the new WokeNFree Wednesday episode. And make sure you follow us on social media to follow along the conversation. And make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on the show, we are pretty packed up for this year. However, we are going to make considerations for 2023 because before you know it, we will be there. So definitely submit take your shot and hit us up on our contact us page at WokeNFree.com. That's WokenFree.com. On social, find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at WokenFree. And then for all sponsorship or collaboration ideas, again, hit us up on our contact us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do share the episode and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokenFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokenFree is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time.